Hello, I'm Jill Sheridan, and welcome back to American Graduate Day on WFYI. Joining us in the studio today, we have JoEllen Florio-Rossebo, President and CEO of Arts for Learning, Cathy Ritchie, COO of Girl Scouts of Central Indiana, and Rachelle Gardner, COO of Hope Academy. Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
JoEllen, I wanted to ask you, we're talking today about STEAM, used to be known as STEM, but we've added arts, and Arts for Learning probably knows a lot about the addition of arts and how important that is. Could you talk about that?
Sure. I think STEAM is really important, whether you consider the arts as actually part of STEM or as a support for STEM. But I've always felt that the arts were kind of the original project-based learning, and that the arts are a tremendous support for teaching science, technology, engineering, and math. We utilize, our teaching artists utilize the arts to teach in other curricular areas in very engaging ways, and I think that the arts are essential to learning in really every area.
And Cathy, you were saying that you see that especially with girls, getting them involved in science, technology, engineering, and math, and arts as well, and your work with the Girl Scouts shows that. True?
Absolutely. One of the things that we have discovered is that girls have this misconception that STEM careers are no fun and they don't get to be creative and they don't get to interact. And so when we intersperse a little bit of that STEAM, incorporate arts into it, then the girls really blossom. And also we discover we have artsy girls and more girls who are more interested in STEM careers interacting and discovering that they're all in this together and it's fun.
And Rachelle, talk about the work that Hope Academy, I know you touch on all of these subjects, right?
Sure. So Hope Academy is a recovery school for kids that are in recovery from drugs and alcohol use. And what we found early on was that the visual part of their brain is what comes back on after their drugs have left their bodies. So the arts has really helped stimulate that. And so we incorporated through a grant early on with Art with a Heart, and we've now incorporated it into our budget, art programs for them, actually classes that they get credit for. And they work with the science and the maths and do cross-curricular activities, which really helps them understand how all of the components go together for not just success and recovery, but also academic success.
Absolutely. JoEllen, talk a little bit about the importance of maybe reaching kids when they're young too. Sure. For these subjects.
We all know that engagement is extremely important in learning, and the arts are natural for that. But I think that when a child is dealing with more abstract concepts in science and mathematics, that the arts, being able to embody a concept really helps a child learn it and retain the information. We all know that memorizing information is difficult, and it really doesn't pay off in the end because children will forget. But if we can give children an opportunity, a tool to use, use the arts in that way, they're going to embody concepts. I can give a brief example of a program we do called Math in Your Feet, where fifth graders are learning math concepts through dance, and they're learning repetition, and they're learning patterns and geometry through dance. And they really are able to sustain that information.
That sounds really interesting. If you could talk a little bit about, getting girls involved too as well. It's so important if they look towards careers in these subjects.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I think is really critical is that there are opportunities, both for boys, but especially for girls, that they have single-sex experiences with that, so that they can take risks, they can fail, they can learn that critical inquiry part of STEM. They learn how to problem solve, they learn how to seek challenges, and all of those things, then they're doing it after school or they're doing it during summer camp, but then that spills back over into the school day. That's really important.
Rachelle, if you could talk real quickly about just how important it is for people to get involved, people that might think that they don't have any hope for the future.
Well, and that's what a lot of the kids say, is that they hadn't been successful in school. Obviously, their drug use had impacted their academics. So Hope Academy has really given them a chance to get clean and sober and to see that they do have a success. And tying in arts and music has really helped broaden their perspectives and really provided them a lot of encouragement and engagement in the academics.
Well, we need you at home to get involved as well. Call the toll-free number and go to these websites to find out more. Become an American Graduate Champion and make a difference.